You're listening to the Options Insider Radio Network, the home of the Options Podcast. For more quality options programs, visit theoptionsinsider.com or search for Options Insider Radio Network in your podcast provider of choice. Listeners can also access all of our programming through our mobile app available in the iTunes and Google Play stores. Select programs are also available via live stream at mixlr.com/options-insider. That's mixlr.com/options-insider. Don't forget to follow along with your favorite programs and submit your own questions for the hosts at twitter.com/options, stocktwits.com/options, facebook.com/theoptionsinsider, or via questions at theoptionsinsider.com. Bitcoin, Ether, Solana, Doge, and more. Cryptocurrencies and digital assets are taking the financial world by storm. This exploding market provides everything a savvy trader needs: volatility, volume, and liquidity, provided you know how to find it. That's where we come in. Welcome to the Crypto Rundown. Each week, we'll break down the latest trading activity, trends, and developments throughout the world's leading crypto derivatives markets. If it's moving the crypto markets, then you'll find it on the Crypto Rundown. The Crypto Rundown is brought to you by Amber Data. If you're entering the digital asset class, you'll need access to granular on-chain and market data from multiple venues to power research, trading, risk management, and compliance. Amber Data delivers comprehensive data and insights into blockchain networks, crypto markets, and decentralized finance, empowering financial institutions to apply traditional finance methods to digital assets. Amber Data eliminates the infrastructure setup, integration challenges, and maintenance headaches to access digital asset data, reducing cost and time to market to enter the digital asset class. Learn more and download their digital asset data guide at www.amberdata.io. Now it's time to dive into the exploding world of crypto derivatives. It's time for the Crypto Rundown.
All right, everybody. That music means we are back once again for the Crypto Rundown. My name, of course, Mark Longo from theoptionsinsider.com, as well as from the ever-exciting, at least we tend to think so, Options Insider Radio Network. Back from the Southern Studios, back in the old Chi-Town studio today. Good to be back here. Also good to be back on the old Crypto Rundown. Of course, took a hiatus last week for the truncated July 4th trading weekend. Crypto Rundown seems like it gets impacted the most here for all the shows on the network. Of course, we usually have long holiday weekends, and that means usually Monday is off. So crypto is usually the one that suffers, but we are back here on the old Crypto Rundown. Just the facts, ma'am, edition today. Going to get you in, get you out, get you on with your day as we keep on rolling right on into the Bitcoin Breakdown.
It's time to explore the latest trending activity, trends, and developments across the world's leading crypto market. It's time for the Bitcoin Breakdown.
All right, everybody, welcome to the Bitcoin Breakdown, the portion of the show where we do just that. We break down all the action in the world's leading digital asset. Yes, I'm talking about the big dog, which is Bitcoin. Remember, all this data coming at you, courtesy of our friends over there at Amber Data, amberdata.io, the place to go to kick the tires and light the fires out there. And if you do that, you can see all this data and literally a ton more that we don't have a chance to get to. Maybe not a literal ton because you can't really weigh the data, but a smorgasbord of data awaits you there. amberdata.io, the place to go to see what I'm talking about here as we see what we're talking about to kick off the show. And Bitcoin, remember, we're going back 2 weeks now to our last show to see what's been cooking in the interim. And at the end of the day, it is summertime, and we had a truncated holiday week last week. So the short answer is not a heck of a lot. Coming into the start of the show today, we have Bitcoin hovering a little bit north of the 30,000 level, 30,420. At the end of our show 2 weeks ago, it was just a wee bit north of the 30,000 levels, 30,094. So you're talking not much of an evolution here week over week on the show. In terms of highs, we got as high as 31,460 on the week. And we got as low at, that was on July 6th, by the way. So coming on the heels of the holiday week last week. Of course, we had the Tuesday off, Monday, a weird truncated session. It was a weird holiday week. We don't normally see the holiday on a Tuesday, listeners. That threw a lot of wrenches into the works for a lot of people last week. The low came on Friday, June 30th of 29,600. So we dipped just a wee bit below the 30,000 level. And with all this kind of treading water out here in Bitcoin, we're seeing vol kind of doing the same, dipping a little bit. We were at about a 45 and a third on the show last week. This week, 41 even, so dropping a little over 4 points. It's starting to get fairly low again on the vol side, so we'll see. If we dip into a 30 in Bitcoin vol, listeners, and you know things are getting a wee bit low. In terms of the vol going a little bit farther out, let's get a representative sampling. Let's not just look at the front month. Let's go all the way out. Let's say 6 months and see what's cooking out there. And again, the answer there, not a heck of a lot. We were a little bit shy of 50 on our last show 2 weeks ago, 49.85 to be precise. You're up about half a point now because they're at 50 and about a third, 50.35 right now in the 180-day vol. So not a heck of a lot, except there is 10 points more volatility going out 6 months. So what does that tell you? Maybe folks expecting a little bit more turbulence going down the road after we get out of the summer doldrums. Let's go to the Skew numbers and see what's cooking out there, listeners. Last show, 2 weeks ago, our 7-day skew, our front week skew. And again, we don't talk about 7-day vol because it's not really that meaningful of a number. 7-day skew, I think you can have a little bit more insight from. And looking at it this week, we saw a little bit of evolution. 2 weeks ago, it was a positive 3. This week, about positive 1.5. So a little bit of that effervescence coming off the top there. In terms of the 30-day skew, go out 1 month and see what's cooking. That's where we normally measure skew, listeners. And last show, it was about a 3.3 to the upside. This week, about 1.25 to the upside. So coming in there as well. If we go farther out, all the way out 6 months, same deal. Obviously, a little bit more muted impact. Last show was 5.5 points to the good. This week, about 4.2. So still positive, but coming in a wee bit there as well. Speaking of coming in, we saw June come in and then go. June rolling off the board since our last episode. So, of course, quarterlies are a big deal in the crypto space. Listen, whenever a quarterly expiration rolls around, it really tends to wreak havoc with the OI. In particular, in products like ETH, that's where a large concentration of the OI is on the quarterly expirations. Bitcoin is a little bit more spread out, so you don't see as big of an impact. Still an impact, obviously, but products like ETH, for whatever reason, they love a quarterly out there. So we're going to see even more of that impact there. Right now, June rolling off the tape a couple of weeks ago and taking a lot of OI with it. Right now is 182,000 calls open on Deribit, so still down. Hasn't really replaced it. It's been 2 weeks. It's down 60,000 contracts. So that's a lot. And then the puts are down to 81,000, down 36,000. So nobody wants any puts over there on Deribit right now, and they want fewer calls as well. So intriguing stuff. Still hanging out a little bit north of that 2-to-1 level out there on Deribit right now. Now, in terms of the big movers, this is kind of interesting. We actually dialed the Amber data machine back to the date of our last show so we can get the exact biggest open interest movers since our last show. I'm guessing, I'll have to talk to them to make sure, but I'm guessing they adjust for expiration in this because we're seeing only gainers in this data, no losers. And obviously the OI is net down. So I'm guessing they account for expiration when we were running these numbers all the way back to June 26th, the date of our last show, because right now our top 5 movers are all gainers again. We've got the 34,000 calls gaining 3,700 contracts. We've got the 32,000 calls coming in at number 4 gaining 4,000 contracts. Number 3, we have the 33,000 calls gaining 4,700 contracts. Number 2, we have the 40,000 calls, the 40K strike, gaining 4,800 contracts. And the big open interest gainer since our last show 2 weeks ago is the 35,000 calls with about 8,300 contracts gaining OI out there. So intriguing stuff. No puts in our top 5 as well, which is kind of interesting. Let's get out to Bitto, see what we can find out there that is interesting. I know for a lot of you, Bitto is your vehicle of choice when trading crypto, particularly from an options perspective. Even though I think that might make an interesting poll question. Are you still out there in your securities account slinging things like Mara or Riot, or have you gone all in on Bitto? Might be an intriguing question of the week one of these days out there. Right now, BITO giving up a little bit of the ghost, but not much. About 16 and a third, down about half a point from where it was this time 2 weeks ago. The ADV literally unched. It was 43,000 contracts 2 weeks ago, 43,000 today. In terms of action out there today, you are not seeing a heck of a lot, listeners. 17,000 contracts only on the tape. So again, it is July. It is a post-holiday week, so you don't expect rock'em sock'em robots type numbers, but still not a heck of a lot going on. The biggest, most active contract today are the July 17 calls. 2,400 of those have traded today. So not a heck of a lot going up out there. Let's go look at the top 10, see what's open for size in BITO right now. Once again, kind of interesting. All calls all the time. All top 10 is all calls. Not a single put to be found in our top 10 right now, listeners, which is kind of interesting. Cost you 12,000 contracts to break into the top 10. That gets you to the Jan 2025 12 calls. And again, a lot of long-term paper here. Number 9, 13,000 of the August 17 calls. One of the only near-dated, it is the only near-dated contract in our top 10. The AUG 17 is 13,000. Everything else is January. Number 8, 19, almost 20,000 of the Jan 2025 20 calls. Followed right behind it by 20,000 of the Jan 2024 20 calls. Number 6, we have 23,000 of the Jan 24 18 calls. Number 5, 27,000 of the Jan 24 15 calls. Here's where it gets even more confusing, listeners. Number 4, we have 35,000 of the Jan 2025 25 calls. Number 3, 47,000 of the Jan 24 65s. Again, one of my favorite open positions in crypto right now. Number 2, 50K of the Jan 25 35 calls. And the big dog out there right now in BITO, 69,000 of the Jan 25 30 calls. So intriguing stuff. BITO to 30. By 2025 expiration, we've seen crazier, wilder things, listeners, as we keep on rolling and see what crazy, wild things we can find in the altcoin universe.
It's time to move beyond Bitcoin and find out what's moving the rest of the crypto marketplace. It's time to boldly venture into the altcoin universe.
All right, everybody, welcome to the altcoin universe, the portion of the show we break down everything lighting it up outside of Bitcoin, except for right now. We look at the top 10 digital assets by market cap. Right now, it costs you about $7 billion exactly to break into the top 10. It gets you to Litecoin. I haven't seen Litecoin hanging out in this space for a little bit, but Litecoin snagging the top 10 spot today with $7 billion worth of market cap. Number 9, Solana, $8.5 billion. Number 8, it's Doge. Doge. Nothing can unseat Doge from the number 8 spot. It is locked there with a little over $9 billion worth of market cap. Number 7, Cardano, $10 billion, pretty much exactly. Number 6, XRP, $24.7 billion. Number 5, USD Coin, $27.3 billion. Number 4, BNB, $38.25 billion. Number 3, it's Tether, $83.33 billion. Number 2, it's ETH, $225 billion. And the number 1 big dog out there, Bitcoin, $590 billion worth of market cap. So looking a little bit larger than it was the last time we chatted, listeners. You know, it's also looking a little bit larger. Emphasis on little bit. It's ETH. The last time we chatted on the show, listeners, it was just a tick shy of 1850, 1849.91 to be precise. Coming into start of the show today, we're seeing Bitcoin, at ETH at about an 1874. That puts it up about 24 points over the span of the last 2 weeks. So again, not a huge move. It got higher, almost exactly 100 points higher. It was 1974 and change on July 3rd. That was the highest we got in the interim. The lowest came on June 28th, about 1822 out there. So a little bit of a range, but not a ton, which is probably the reason why we're seeing ETH vol continuing to come in. It was a 43 on our last show, 40 and a quarter right now. So threatening to break the 40 handle in the wrong direction. Again, you get a 30 handle, not just on Bitcoin vol, but on ETH vol. That's fairly low, listeners, and maybe a point when you might want to start paying attention. At the very least, the old adage, options are to be sold or not sold. At least some people think. I don't fall into that camp, but some people think that way. This is definitely maybe a time when you should consider whether you should be selling or not, getting below a 40 in ETH. In terms of a little bit longer term vol, 6 months, we saw, interesting, it's actually ticking up a little bit. It was 47.3 on the show 2 weeks ago. This time, 48.7. So a similar trend to what we saw in Bitcoin, where longer term vol a little bit juicier, which again reflects the fact that we are hanging out in the summer months. No one's really expecting a heck of a lot of craziness for the next few months out here, but going a little bit farther down the road, pricing in a little bit more juice. That's also reflected right now in the near-dated skew out there, 7-day skew. It was flat on our last show. It's still close to that. It's about a -2 right now, so slightly biased to the downside, but nothing crazy out there. A longer-term skew, 30-day skew, same deal. It was about positive 1.5 on our last show, swung to -1 right now. So both of them swinging in the negative direction, which is interesting, but only modestly so. So not a ton to read into there. And our 180-day skew going out 6 months, that's interesting as well. It was exactly flat on our last show 2 weeks ago. This week, positive 3.5. So that skew also swinging a little bit to the positive, which is kind of interesting. So pricing in a little bit more juice a little bit farther out, and also maybe a little bit of upside a little bit farther out. Interesting. Again, 3.5 points, not a ton to read into, but intriguing nonetheless. As I mentioned earlier with Bitcoin, we saw June roll off the board since our last show, and it took a ton of paper with it. That is especially evident in ETH. Only 1.76 million calls open on Deribit right now. It's down 430,000 since our last show. Puts 562,000. That's down 321,000. So they really came for it in ETH out there, which makes it even more interesting to see that our top 5 OI changers, our movers and shakers since our last show 2 weeks ago, are again all gainers. I need to talk to the Amber Data folks about how they deal with expirations. I have a feeling that's adjusted for in the system, which is why we're not seeing huge losses on the OI since our last show 2 weeks ago. But coming in right now, we have number 5, the 1800 puts. Get some puts in our top 5 again, gaining 31,000 contracts since our last show 2 weeks ago. Number 4, you have the 2100 calls. So pretty much all the rest of these, except for number 1, are all north of the 2,000 strike, which is kind of interesting. We have the 2100 calls gaining 32,000 contracts. Number 3, we have the 2,000 calls gaining 41,000 contracts. Number 2, the 2,500 calls, so ever optimistic, gaining 55,000 contracts. And the big gainer since our last show 2 weeks ago, the 1,900 calls gaining 94,000 contracts. So again, we have one put at least sneaking into our top 5, unlike Bitcoin. But intriguing how we have only gainers again for ETH. I need to dig into some of the numbers there to see exactly what's going on underneath the hood as we keep on rolling. Nice little pop for Solana since our last show, listeners. It was at about 16 1/3 2 weeks ago, about 21.10 or so right now. So up nearly 4 3/4 points since our last show. So a little bit of a resurgence for Solana after taking it on the chin recently. XRP doing exactly what you expect, which is a whole heck of a lot of nothing. 47.6 cents on our last show, 47.3 cents right now. So quite literally treading water out there, which again is what you expect from XRP. It's been doing it forever. No signs it's going to end anytime soon, in spite of what you're reading out there. It seems like every week we have a new headline. This is it for XRP. It's coming. Ruling's coming. We've been seeing that and saying that for years, listeners, with no end in sight. Good old Doge, 6.4 cents on our last show. 6.4 cents again right now. So doing a whole heck of a lot of nothing, but managing to cling still to its number 8 spot in the overall market cap. Litecoin, as we said, having a nice little resurgence. 87 1/4 on our last show. About 95 1/4 right now. Puts it up about 8 points since our last show. We got Cardano also gaining a little bit, 28.1 cents on our last show 2 weeks ago, 28.80 right now. Polkadot 5.12 2 weeks ago, 5.13 right now. So treading water there as well. And then everyone's favorite, ye old Shiba Inu, treading water as well, 0.0000076 2 weeks ago, and this week it is a whopping 0.75. All right, listeners, that's going to do it for this Just the Facts, ma'am, edition of the Crypto Rundown. Happy to be back in the old Chicago studio. Feels weird to have all these microphones and bells and whistles in front of me again after being in the Southern studio for a couple of weeks, but it feels good. It feels like we're back home, which we quite literally are here. So you folks also back home with us for the rest of the content on the network this week. Coming up tomorrow, we have a great pro Q&A with our old buddy, the once and continuous Uncle Mike. not a huge crypto fan, but if you have crypto questions, I encourage you to throw them at him. Maybe ask him why he's not a big crypto fan. We can get some answers out of him. He is the owner of BitcoinReallySucks.com at the end of the day, so if you want to throw some questions, some hate mail his way, could be a fun one. Tomorrow, we also have Options Bootcamp coming up with Mr. Passarelli. He's a little bit more of a crypto dabbler, I would say, on Wednesday. And again, if you're new to the world of options, you're listening to this show, you're saying, what the heck are these guys talking about here on this show? Options Bootcamp is the place to go to start their listeners. And then Thursday, of course, the Option Block, as well as This Week in Futures Options, another show on the network where we do dabble in some crypto, mostly on the listed CME side, the futures and the options for ETH and for Bitcoin. So if you want more crypto derivatives talk, check out TWIFO every week, Friday, Volatility Views, and then for all the pro folks, we come back for Options Oddities. Then we're back again next Monday, another episode of the Crypto Rundown. Stay safe out there, everybody.
The Crypto Rundown is brought to you by Amber Data. If you're entering the digital asset class, you'll need access to granular on-chain and market data from multiple venues to power research, trading, risk management, and compliance. Amber Data delivers comprehensive data and insights into blockchain networks, crypto markets, and decentralized finance, empowering financial institutions to apply traditional finance methods to digital assets. Amber Data eliminates the infrastructure setup, integration challenges, and maintenance headaches to access digital asset data, reducing cost and time to market to enter the digital asset class. Learn more and download their digital asset data guide at www.amberdata.io. You're listening to the Options Insider Radio Network, the home of the Options Podcast. For more quality options programs, visit theoptionsinsider.com or search for Options Insider Radio Network in your podcast provider of choice. Listeners can also access all of our programming through our mobile app available in the iTunes and Google Play stores. Select programs are also available via live stream at mixlr.com/options-insider. That's mixlr.com/options-insider. Don't forget to follow along with your favorite programs and submit your own questions for the hosts at twitter.com/options, stocktwits.com/options, facebook.com/theoptionsinsider, or via questions at theoptionsinsider.com.